Good morning. Leesburg's last farm is up for sale and it could become a town park. For Monday, November 24th, it's your Loudoun Now Morning Minute. Thanks for being with us. I'm Rince Green. Mark November in your calendars. Leesburg's last cow has left town. The last cow in Leesburg is named Maud, and she's known to passerby for her friendly demeanor. She was the last of the herd at Rock Spring Farm, and she's found her new home near Hillsboro. Rock Spring Farm has been a working farm for more than 2 centuries. It's on the western edge of Leesburg's historic district, and it once spanned more than 100 acres. Until 1977, it was a dairy farm. Most of the farm was sold for development in the 80s, and today it's about 13 acres with a federal-style manor house built in 1826. Now, Leesburg's last farm's owner hopes it becomes Leesburg's newest park. That's Dr. Jack Cook. His wife Agnes died in April, and she was part of the Harrison family, which has owned the farm for 4 generations since 1897. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2002. Cook has long envisioned the farm as a town park, which would build on the decades-long tradition of welcoming children to sled on the hill at the farm in the snow. Leesburg native Jim Roberts, who worked the farm as a young man milking cows, said it was also integrated with white and black children playing together, which was not the case everywhere in Leesburg at the time. And Jack and Agnes's son John Cook said it was important to his mother that the land be preserved and that they're in talks with town leaders to see about making that happen. The town council is expected to talk about that in closed session next month. It's not yet clear exactly how the town would use the farm, but John said one thing is important. It's not going to be townhouses. Go to loudounnow.com/Morning Minute to check out the whole story. In other news, State Senator Russet Perry released a statement last week condemning the, quote, ongoing corruption and apparent malfeasance, end quote, of the Purcellville Town Council. Perry's 31st district includes the town of Purcellville. Her statement comes a week after the 4-member town council majority appointed a new interim town manager, which was a surprise to both the council minority and the public. The meeting agenda that was available in advance did not include appointing a new town manager. The current town manager, former Mayor Kwesi Frazier, is currently on paid administrative leave after being indicted on felony charges of bid rigging and commercial fraud against the town government. Reading from Perry's statement, quote, over the course of the past week, my office has heard from an overwhelming number of Purcellville residents regarding the ongoing corruption and apparent malfeasance of local public officials. Let me be clear on my position. What has been happening in Purcellville is unprecedented and unacceptable. It represents a fundamental breakdown in ethical conduct, public duty, and responsible governance. End quote. Perry also announced she will propose legislation in next year's General Assembly to address the, quote, extensive corruption, instability, and governance failures that Purcellville residents have been forced to endure, end quote. On the topic of Purcellville, a 3-day jury trial is scheduled to kick off December 1st in the petition to remove Purcellville Vice Mayor Carl Ben Nett from office. Back in April, Purcellville residents submitted recall petitions against all 4 members of the town council majority, including Nett, council members Susan Khalil and Carol Luke, and Mayor Christopher Berteau. Stafford County Commonwealth's Attorney Eric Olson has been appointed as the special prosecutor in the case. This is separate from the 6 felony charges Nett faces, including the same commercial fraud and bid rigging as Frazier, along with 4 charges related to misuse of a law enforcement database. He's accused of using his access to a statewide law enforcement database to look up his political opponents during last year's town council election, before he was fired from the town police department, and before the town council majority then tried to shut down the town police department, but backed off in the face of public uproar. Brian Morgan, who led the recall petition, said the trial is welcome news. Quote, we've been patient, but it's been a long, hard summer of hoping to see progress, so this is gratifying to finally see movement in an important direction. End quote. And speaking again of the Virginia General Assembly, Loudoun County Supervisors have floated some of their asks for next year's legislative session, including the authority to set caps on yearly rent increases. For context, in Virginia in general, local governments only have those powers that are specifically given to them in state law. So typically, if they want to try something new, like rent control, they have to get the General Assembly to grant them that power. The county's draft legislative agenda includes increasing funding for a range of affordable housing programs like the Low-Income Housing Tax Credits, the Resources Enabling Affordable Community Housing, or REACH program, the Housing Trust Fund, the State Rental Assistance Program, Sponsoring Partnerships and Revitalizing Communities, or SPARK, the Rental Unit Accessibility Modification Program, and Granting Freedom, a program that provides grants for veterans with disabilities to modify their homes for accessibility. But the biggest change is probably the request for the authority to limit year-over-year rent increases. The county had planned a study on the benefits and drawbacks of such a program, but that study was put on hold after federal grant funding got cut. Among the other things they're looking for from the General Assembly, establishing Oak Hill, the former home of President James Monroe here in Loudoun, as a state park. Get the full story on this and all these stories over at loudounnow.com. On today's Get Out Loudoun calendar, Morven Park is offering holiday tours of the iconic Davis Mansion decked out in its holiday splendor. Tours are available Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Kids 17 and under get in free. Get tickets on our calendar. And Solace Brewing Company in Sterling is hosting the December cocktail competition. They've been fine-tuning their holiday cocktail recipes, and they're asking you to pick out their featured December holiday cocktail, by which they mean now through Sunday you can buy a cocktail flight and vote on which one they should feature next month. Check out the rest of the events calendar at getoutloudon.com. And if you like the Morning Minute, play the podcast for Maud and all the rest of your cow friends to help us break into the bovine podcasting scene, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and it'll be waiting for you there every morning. Okay, have a great day.